Well, hello there, assurance heroes, and welcome to the A-Plan podcast. A is for assurance, and this is your weekly audit and risk talk show. We're the A-team. He's Emre, the tech guy.
Here is Andy, the communication guy.
All right, so what have we got for you this week? So this week, we're carrying on with our Agile theme. And our question is this: what would an Agile manifesto for internal auditors look like? So what we did, we took the Manifesto for Agile Software Development, which was signed by 17 software developers from the 11th to the 13th of February 2001. It's soon going to be 20 years old.
20 years.
20 years old. And we had a look at the values contained in that manifesto. What are the things that they value? So what we're going to do is take those four values and see if they can be directly adapted to audit. So the first one is individuals and interactions over processes and tools.
We have sort of a problem here. Yeah, you apparently didn't put one of the new cover sheets on your TPS reports.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry about that. I forgot.
Yeah. You see, we're putting the cover sheets on all TPS reports now before they go out. Did you see the memo about this?
The auditors, they follow meticulously the same processes at the expense of the actual output of their work. They are too much concerned of doing the right thing according to the paper. The auditors sometimes spend so much time on processes and tools, and sometimes it's just for the sake of documentation.
This whole idea about individuals and interactions as well, I can make another point. It isn't just the individual, the process owner and the auditee, it's also the auditor. And what I'm talking about here is the audit committee. Because in so many organizations, like the auditor is like the worker bee, the drone, doing all the work, going there, dealing with the process owner, dealing with the auditees, having all these headaches, And then he writes his report. And at the end, they take that report, put it on the slides, and the chief audit executive goes like the champion, like a Superman to the audit committee and stands there saying, "Yeah, this is what we found." What about the internal auditor? He's like the invisible man. You know what I mean?
We have one Jedi and we have a lot of R2D2s.
Exactly. A lot of R2D2s, exactly. So faceless, nameless, identikit drones that you could just switch in and out for one another. It's like, what are you doing? Ultimately, if we're following an agile approach and if we're caring about individuals, then that counts for the internal auditor too. That guy, look, after COVID, everything's gone virtual. Nobody's getting together for the audit committee, sitting down in a room with a 2-meter distance and a face mask on. Everything's on Zoom. So bring the auditor. Who is the expert on that audit mission? The guy who did it. Bring them along, get them to present the findings.
But don't you think that there must be a trust issue there, Andy?
100%. Trust the guy.
Trust the guy, right?
Trust the guy, empower the guy.
Empower the guy. When you do this, you encourage the auditor because you give him enormous responsibility to do a good job. Because the other way, he will receive a lot of questions from the chairman of the audit committee, from the CEO, so that he should feel this tension into these bonds.
I think with that, you're absolutely right. The thing about challenges, after 25 years in training is this: people rise to challenges. The second one that we got then, the second value, working software over comprehensive documentation. So again, this is kind of related to what we were just talking about.
It's all about being relevant, right?
Yeah.
You're relevant or you're not relevant. So that's exactly what we have to apply Agile mindset. I'm not necessarily talking about Agile process, but applying Agile mindset to internal audits. That means relevance for me in our age. And one of the instruments for the audit stakeholders to assess how internal audit function remains relevant is through the deliverables of the internal audit, which is the audit reports at the end of the day. Often the auditors spend so much time and their energy for the documents as opposed to the reports. There's a jargon that is called cowboy coding.
Get 3 coffins ready.
In an undisciplined approach, you left full autonomy to the developer to work on the report, on the software as he wishes to. Well, in audits, we have the same problem when the auditor is so much focused on the documentation, where he really doesn't put too much energy and effort on the final deliverable, the report.
It's there, isn't it? It is that habit to just fill in forms and create more and more, sort of avalanche of documentation during the field work. Sort of snowstorm of paper all over the place. Yeah.
Well, historically, that was even worse, because I remember the time when you had to go through every document that you can possibly find. Clearly, we shouldn't just create documentation for documentation's sake. When there's a super concern on the documentation, this is at the expense of the final deliverable. So we shouldn't miss this important aspect.
Again, who are you creating the documentation for? Because I mean,
that's the question, right?
Who are you writing it for? Who are you spending your time creating it for? Because I think most of this isn't even being read.
Maybe one thing I remember when I had discussions with young auditors in the past, one thing that I used to tell them, okay, well, we are producing lengthy reports, and they were asking me who is really reading our reports.
Who's really reading
and one thing that I was telling them, okay, do you know for who do you write your report? And they're saying the audit committee, the audit clients. My answer was, no, you should be writing the audit report for yourself. Are you satisfied with what you've written? If that would be a book on the bookshelf, would you buy the book written by yourself?
It's good. Yeah, it's a good perspective. Yeah.
This is the end, beautiful friend.
Final thoughts. So, looking at those values, what do you think? Can we adapt? Is it adaptable for audit? I think it is.
It is. It is definitely adaptable, Andy. And well, as I get into the agile methodology more and more, I'm more convinced that we have to apply agile. At least mindset. If from the organizational standpoint, it's not easy to digest it now, but we have to invest on this. That's for sure.
Okay, so what time is it?
If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the A-Team.
It's A-Team time. So if you have an assurance problem, if no one else can help you, then we can help you, because we're your assurance agony ants. If you have any questions, anything you want us to talk about with this weekly audit and risk talk show, send us a mail. The address is theaplan@zoho.eu, and we'll be happy to give you our thoughts on that. So thank you very much for listening, guys. This has been the A-Plan podcast. And remember, when your A-Plan is good, you don't need no B-Plan.